go ahead and use your text message to go through and read. This is the video for today. Yeah, so this isn't the first wizard. So this is the first wizard who has attacked me, though. So like my DM has used like 2 other wizards. So I'm like, yo, these wizards are powerful. So I'm thinking like one day I can be this great of a wizard. But at this point, I'm just like feeling so like, oh my God, why can't I do anything? To the point where my DM was like, Solo Aqua, you have this ability. Why aren't you using it? And I was like, I don't know how to use it. Because every time I try to use something, you say no. He's like, we're using it. So you accidentally used this ability, even though it wasn't your turn. So like at this point, he's just helping me out right now. So like, yes, I would love it if you would help me like learn how to use my character properly. So no, my DM is not playing at all. But I can't really take my time because like this is only a summer campaign. And so like our next campaign, our next game is in 2 weeks. So and we get so deep in the game where like we're thinking like way ahead of what's actually happened, because there's this part where like we have to kill the person, because we got a person and we like tied them up because we needed to interrogate them. We just cleaned out a cavern, and like this person was like a mercenary. Like his people were like enslaved and like used as muscle, but you know, they lived in peace and all that. They're really good people, very loyal people. And so like one of our people can charm. And so she had him charmed. And so he was answering questions and he was like, I don't know that part. They never told us. If they told everyone, they never told me. And so basically they just like said, oh, he's big, stupid muscle. We were like, he is not big, stupid muscle. We can tell. Hold on. And so my DM gets mad because we always ask like, what's his name? He's like, well, no one I've ever played D&D with asked the person's name, because you know, like we want to get to know him. We want to like kind of like lull him into like this false sense of security and friendship. And so we're like asking his name. And so he's like, I just need a whole list of like random names that I've come up with because y'all keep asking like what's so and so's name. So at any rate, so we ask him all these questions, and like we know that the charm is going to wear off in like less than 30 minutes, but we also want to take a long rest because, you know, we've been battling. We've only had like one short rest in like the last like 2 or 3 plays, and we need to recharge. We need to get all of our like everything back up to max, because I took a hard hit where it got me like I was like at 0. And then like one of my players like opened my mouth and forced a healing potion in that got me back up to like 8. So, you know, I'm like, oh my God, I'm almost dead. And so we know we need to heal, but we know that like if we take a long 8 and when we're like sleeping, someone's taking watch, this person could overpower that person. So we're like, I'm like, look, we need to kill him. And everyone's like, Solo Aqua, oh my gosh, you can't just talk about you want to kill people. I'm like, no, we need to kill him. And so like the person who always like wants to smash and kill people, she was like, no, I feel like we can do some good with him, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, because he is a mercenary. Like we can ask him what they're paying, but because of the race he is, he's loyal to, you know, the original contractor. And so our DM had just started telling us that, and we were like, oh my gosh. And so we're going back and forth for like 20 minutes. And like, we have this one person, I forgot what they are, but they're like really tiny and they're always in stealth mode. And they're always afraid of everything and towering behind everyone. But they just went up to him and like beheaded them. Like slit their throat, but like took the blade all the way to the end until they felt the cavern walls and their head fell off. And I'm like, thank goodness. And like the other 2 are like, what just happened? What? And the DM's like, you killed him. You killed Donnie. And so like, and I was like, thank God, Neff. Like we needed that done because, you know, yes, he's tied up, but as soon as he, you know, is out of being charmed, he's going to be pissed because we charmed him. He's already pledged his allegiance to someone else, you know, and they are very loyal people. And the DM's like, that's not what I meant when I told you that. What I meant was, I meant to say, like, he would pledge his allegiance to you. We're like, no, if he's gonna, you know, leave the people he's with now, he's gonna leave us too. he has no allegiances. And so he was like, oh my God, I'd already created this whole timeline of like Donnie helping you out and giving you information, blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, we'll know next time. I feel no harm about that. And like, so like the other two people who were like on the fence and didn't want to kill him, they're like, you just killed him after all the things, all the help Donnie did for us. And like Neff and I were like, yeah, and let's go look at the house, see where we can rest. So it was so funny. I was like, oh my gosh, y'all out here killing people left and right. But the moment you talk to one person and we realize he's dangerous and we want to kill him, it's a problem. Even our DM was like, I can't believe y'all just did that. I was like, he would have been pissed once he knew we charmed him. And while we were resting, like, he would have retaliated. It would have happened. So yeah, that's okay. So when you ask about the whole boy band situation, look, bro, like the 90s, 2000s was like a crazy time. So my mom told me now I debate this. My mom told me growing up that I was in love with, can you think of their names now? I just had their names in my head. Anyways, the boy band of the 80s, the white guys, that should help you, right? With Marky Mark's brother in it. Well, I can't think of these men's name. Like, my mom purchased me their sheets, their pillowcases. I think she low-key loved them, but because at the time she couldn't say that she liked white people, like white guys, she couldn't say that she loved them, so she's like, oh, my daughter loves this. It was her. But like growing up, I loved some New Edition. I loved Boyz II Men. And then of course I loved both NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. They were both soulful white boy bands. Very soulful, very doing their thing. I love them all. There was no like, oh, I love NSYNC more, I love Backstreet more. No, it was an equal thing. So in the same with Boyz II Men, obviously they hold a more special place in my heart because they started out my true interest, and boy bands where I actually knew everyone's name, because with New Edition I only knew their names because of the one song where they said everyone's name. That's another thing I miss about like the 99, 2000s. Like they actually said people's names. But they don't anymore. So yeah. But I can honestly say there's not a boy band now where I know anyone's names. Like I may like the music, like 5 Seconds of Summer. Love their music. I don't know none of them turn names. And like even Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. I know NSYNC isn't making music. Backstreet Boys will still make music. I don't know any of their new music because it's just not my jam anymore. So like it's very interesting. Like music is just a whole other vibe right now.